And we are live. Hello, one and all, and welcome to my review for tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. This is the go home edition, the August 14th, 2017 edition of Raw, as we are only 6 days away from SummerSlam. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this Raw from start to finish. I thought this was a strong, solid go home show that really touched upon all the feuds from the Raw brand heading into SummerSlam. I thought the crowd was really good throughout, and that ending that went off the air there, we'll talk about it by the end of this review, but I really liked Raw tonight, guys. It did what it needed to do to build the hype and the excitement for SummerSlam. Like I said, I liked how every match got the necessary build tonight heading into SummerSlam. And, we had a title change hands. We had a number one contender decided. We had the guys in the Fatal 4-Way match just wanted to rip each other apart. We have a lot to discuss and talk about. So if you're just tuning in before this review really gets going, if you're watching live, thank you for watching live. Please respond in the live chat. It will be open throughout this entire review. So just want to put that out there so I can get your feedback and respond to you during this live review. So thanks for watching. Without further ado, let's talk about how Raw kicked off the air here, because I really like this opening segment between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, just hyping up and playing up the tension that has been just building amongst them for the past couple of weeks, and really just going back ever since Seth Rollins literally stabbed his brothers in the back with the steel chair, which is hard to believe now. That was 3 years ago in June. But I really liked how we didn't know if either one of them was going to extend their hand out and do the shield pose. I mean, they kept going back and forth. They milked this really for all it was worth. And when these two were finally on the same page and, it looked like they were going to reunite, then Sheamus and Cesaro come down. They beat down Ambrose and Rollins. We got Chaos, Melee. They're beating down Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose is laid out on the outside. It's looking like, is Dean Ambrose going to go in there and help his former brother, or is he just going to stand around and watch Sheamus and Cesaro kick his ass? But Ambrose ran in there, and they actually worked together. They double clothesline Sheamus over the ropes, and then they did the same to Cesaro, and the crowd's going nuts when the pop for that. When Ambrose and Rollins do the shield pose together, it was something truly to behold, seeing them together on the same page. It was an awesome visual. It was made even better by the crowd tonight in Boston. So hats off to Boston. Great crowd tonight for Raw. And this was a great moment. And it's official now. It'll be Cesaro and Sheamus being challenged by Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins for the Raw Tag Team Championships at SummerSlam. I'm really looking forward to that match. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Do Ambrose and Rollins, are they able to maintain and be on the same page heading into SummerSlam? Or is there, something unintended that we don't see coming that happens? I'm calling it maybe a heel turn. Maybe it's Rollins. Maybe it's Ambrose. We just don't know, guys. But this was a great opening segment, and I'm looking forward to that showdown taking place at SummerSlam. And if you haven't heard today, I just want to, this is the part of the show where they gave the update on Ric Flair with his medical conditions. I heard he was in a coma. He was having heart issues. He was in the hospital. He has been released from the hospital. And I just want to take this time out of this review to say, we're praying for you, Nate. We want to see you get better. We're not going to lose you. We know you're a fighter. You're one of the greatest of all time, and we just pray for a quick and speedy recovery. That's all we can do during this time. So make sure you guys just send your prayers to Ric Flair and his family, and hopefully he can make a full and speedy recovery. So with that being said, Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks in the number one contenders match for the Raw Women's Championship. Keep in mind, Alexa Bliss was in her, I'd almost call it like a lifeguard chair that they poorly painted over. She is the goddess of WWE, so she sat over watching this match. And when I heard Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks, I thought, okay, they're probably going to do a double count out, or Alexa Bliss interferes, then this gets turned into a triple threat match. Instead, we actually got a pretty good match between these two. And dare I say it, this was the best match that I've seen Nia Jax and Sasha Banks have together. Their other matches were okay, but I thought there was just something more so special about this match. Particular spots that I liked from this match was when Sasha Banks rolled out of the ring from Nia hitting the Samoan drop on her, and I thought that was a very, very smart by Sasha Banks to do that. Um, and when Sasha was able to, it looked like she was going to try and powerbomb Nia Jax off the top turnbuckle, but Sasha Banks actually dropped Nia from the ropes and then did her double foot stomp spot. It's easy for me to say on Nia Jax. Eventually, she locks in the bank statement, but it looks like Nia is going to get to the ropes. Sasha cuts her off, and Jax lifted Sasha up, and she hit a tilt-a-whirl DDT, carries right back into the bank statement, and Sasha Banks wins in her hometown. Sweet, sweet retribution for the stupid decision to have Sasha Banks lose at Hell in a Cell. They correct the wrong from there, and Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss, as it should have been originally, will be the Women's Championship match at SummerSlam. I like the match that they had at Great Balls of Fire. I look forward to seeing what type of match they're able to have here on SummerSlam. Later on backstage, Kurt Angle was talking with Matt and Jeff Hardy. The Miz shows up, and he pretty much gets in Angle's face, and they kind of go back and forth saying he's doing an absolutely terrible job being a GM. And originally Kurt said, well, Jason Jordan, you're going to be in a match with Bo Dallas. And Miz complained, and he said, I want to take on Jason Jordan. So Kurt Angle made the match official for tonight. And eventually Angle said, there's a problem. I got to go. Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt. They left that kind of cliffhanger hanging out in the air, which was nice because we don't really get that anymore on this show. You know, that lack of spontaneity of, oh my God, what's going to happen next? So that was a nice tease for when we came back. Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt were brawling backstage. They were literally beating the shit out of each other. And Kurt Angle said, well, you can't wait for SummerSlam. We're going to have Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt for the first time ever here on this show tonight. I was thinking, whoa, okay. I thought we were saving that for SummerSlam. I didn't expect to see it here tonight on Raw, but we did get the match. And we'll talk about the match later, but that was announced for later on in the show. And then after this, we had Elias Sampson, interrupted by R-Truth. Sampson hits R-Truth with the drift away, and he leaves with his guitar. So that was quick and painless. Don't really have too much to complain about that. The Big Cass segment. I thought, well, first of all, the crowd heat for Big Cass. I didn't expect it to be this strong going into this segment. He had some massive heat tonight, and it was great to see. I love when a crowd is that loud and vocal, and they were certainly letting Big Cass hear it. Every time he tried to put the microphone up to his mouth, they just booed him. Tried to put the microphone up to his mouth again. They booed him again. So that was something really great to see. I thought it played nicely into his promo. I actually thought he cut one of the better promos I've seen Big Cass cut. I thought he was just feeding really well off the crowd here. He talked about beating up Big Show and Enzo Amore, how he's annoying. And eventually Enzo came down and, did his usual shtick. And he invited out the Big Show, and it looked like, Cass and Show were going to take out, or not Cass and Show, Cass. See, Big Show and Enzo were going to double team Big Cass. Okay, I think I got all the guys right now. But Anderson and Gallows came down to help Big Cass, and I actually thought it was a really nice beatdown. They beat down Enzo Amore. They beat the shit out of the Big Show, and what they did here, I actually like. They took Big Show's wrist, they wrapped his arm around the cage, and Big Cass took the cage door and slammed it into the Big Show's hand, potentially damaging it. Maybe you have some broken bones, whatever have you. Storyline going into that match. And then Cass stomped on the wrist itself, and I actually thought that was a nice visual when they replayed that. Not too enamored for this match going in, but I thought the build tonight was solid. I thought it was a solid beatdown by Cass and the club, which doesn't make sense. I hope, please explain why they did that. Why did they help? Don't just not explain it. Have a follow-up. Use logic, reasoning, and all that good stuff. But we'll see. But yeah, I thought it was a good night for all these guys involved. We then have a match that was originally scheduled to air at SummerSlam, but I'm actually happy. I know some of you thought, well, the Cruiserweights, they should have been on SummerSlam, but let's be honest, they probably would have been on the pre-show. I don't think the crowd reaction would have been what it was tonight. Nobody would have really cared. So I think, okay, SummerSlam is going to be a full card. I don't mind them moving the Cruiserweight match off SummerSlam onto Raw. It's something actually I advocated for, and I'm happy to see it. And Robbie, thanks for watching my live review. Please respond in the live chat. It will be open, and we'll talk about the blood. We're getting to that. But Neville versus Akira Tozawa. Good Cruiserweight match. Like I said, this was a good edition of Monday Night Raw. And what surprised me is Neville attempted to hit the red arrow. Tozawa got out of the way. And actually before that, Tozawa was able to roll through the rings of Saturn with a schoolboy. Neville got kicked out really close near fall there. Actually almost looked like 3. I was thinking, oh shit, maybe they're going to botch that. But Tozawa, after he got out of the way for the red arrow, he goes up, hits the high elevation senton bomb, and Akira Tozawa. I called it, folks. I said on Twitter, something tells me that he was going to win at SummerSlam, but they moved the match back to Raw. So I said Tozawa was going to beat Neville. Tozawa beat Neville. It was surprising to see because I didn't think Neville's Cruiserweight Championship reign was going to come to an end like that. But I thought the match was good. Probably the best match that these two have had. And like I said, I got a good pop from the crowd. The crowd actually cared about a Cruiserweight match for once. So I really have nothing more to complain about. I mean, if Neville's going to drop it to somebody, if it wasn't going to be an Austin Aries, I would have preferred Cedric Alexander. But I do like Tozawa, so we'll see what he does with his run as Cruiserweight champion. But I could definitely see Neville getting the belt back. It would not surprise me. So after this, we skip around here. We have Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. I thought it was an okay match, but when I was watching this match, I really felt like I had a feeling that they were going to have another match at SummerSlam, and I felt like, and yes, we'll talk about that because that was definitely the one nitpick from this show, which I thought was still a pretty good show, but we'll get into that, Robbie, after this match. Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, thought it was an okay match. But I was surprised, not really surprised to see. Well, okay, I'll say it. I'm surprised to see that the Eater of Pins, Bray Wyatt, actually got another win here. He beat Seth Rollins back-to-back, and now he beat Finn Balor here. But what I liked about it was the fact of how it's set up into bringing out the Demon, who we have not seen. And I like how they're calling him the Demon and not the Demon King, because Demon King sounds like Demon Kane, if you catch my drift. But after the match, after Finn Balor, got hit with, we tried to go up to the top rope for the coup de grace, came down empty, and that's where Bray Wyatt hit the Sister Abigail on Finn Balor for the win. Afterwards, lights go out. Bray Wyatt has a bucket. Finn Balor's in the corner. Bray Wyatt takes this bucket and dumps what is supposed to be, I'll call it what it is. It's supposed to be blood. Reminded me of the bloodbath from the Brood, who were freaking awesome back in the Attitude Era. It wasn't as thick of blood as they used back then, but it was still a really cool visual. It wasn't PG, and it makes sense. Finn Balor couldn't beat Bray Wyatt. Well, that kind of sounds sad because everybody can beat Bray Wyatt, but you catch my drift to what the story they were trying to tell. He couldn't beat Bray Wyatt as himself, so he has to tap into his inner demon, and then afterwards he comes out of the office door, blood all over him. Said he talked to Kurt Angle, and it'll be the Demon versus Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. Can't wait to see the Demon return. It's been 1 year, which is hard to believe, since we've seen the Demon, but he will be back, and the Demon will rise. I don't even know if it's in my notes here, but we did have Emma versus Mickie James. Emma loses due to the fact that I guess they're burying her because she started the hashtag Give Emma a Chance. And you know what happens in this company when you can't, when you try and get over on your own, they punish you. just ask Zack Ryder how well that went. So Emma versus Mickie James, crowd didn't care. It was an all right match. I just wish they would do more with Emma and Mickie James. Something, anything, please, because what they're doing with them right now really ain't doing a whole lot for me. So that's disappointing. See, hashtag give Emma and Mickie a chance. Seriously, please, just come up with something. Anything would have been better than what they came up with tonight. We have what was supposed to be The Miz versus Jason Jordan. Match breaks down into chaos early on. Miztourage gets involved. Eventually, the Hardys come down to make the save, and we have an impromptu holla, holla, holla play. 6-man tag team match. Solid stuff here. You know, a decent 6-man tag team match. Descended into chaos towards the end with everybody getting in there. Jeff Hardy, of course, got the hot tag. He hit that swanton bomb that he hits now. He comes down with a full force, landed right on Bo Dallas's face. I'm like, oh shit, I hope Bo's okay. And towards the end of the match, Jordan comes in. He hits Miz with a belly-to-belly suplex. And Dallas comes up, takes a pop-up neck breaker, twist of fate, and a swanton bomb. Your winners are Jason Jordan and the Hardy Boys. So yeah, nothing really too much to say there, except solid, decent 6-man tag. And then we move into the main event. Kurt Angle, he has security surrounding the ring due to the fact of all 4 of the Fatal 4-Way participants, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns. They're going to be in the same ring at the same time. Situation could easily get out of hand, so he wanted to prevent that at all costs. And it's delete. Had to do that one for you, Robbie. Paul Heyman gets on the mic. He said this has been a conspiracy by WWE against him and Brock Lesnar. He said this match is nothing more than a prison fight. And Heyman says, you know how people call Braun Strowman the monster among men? Well, Brock Lesnar's a beast, and beasts destroy monsters. And he pretty much trashed Samoa Joe. And then he got to Roman Reigns. And he said, the ring may be Roman's yard, but it's attached to Brock's house, and rent comes due this Sunday. That was a really nice line there from Paul Heyman. Eventually, Joe comes down to the ring. He says, I don't fear you, Brock, and I'm going to kick your ass at SummerSlam pretty much. And then came Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns finally came out. And Reigns just came out, got retribution on Joe, hit him with the spear, and then Strowman picked him up, hit him with the power slam, and then we had the match that I want to see at WrestleMania 34, Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar, face-to-face in the same ring. They barely touched because security held them back, but Lesnar, Strowman, they're fighting off security, and then Kurt Angle orders more guys from the locker room to come out. They touch briefly. Lesnar tries and gets a shot in on Strowman, and I like the visual of all 4 guys being held back. They haven't touched. They haven't interacted. They've kept that, all 4 of them together. You're going to save that to see that happen in the main event of SummerSlam, and that is going to be one hell of a fight. It's going to be a war. Bodies will be on the line, and bodies will be broken. Carnage, blood, piss, vinegar, put it all in a blender. That is what the main event of SummerSlam is going to be, a fatal 4-way massacre. And that, my friends, I think I summed it up nicely there. As you can tell, I'm really excited for that main event. I thought this episode of Raw was really good, really strong. Great episode of Raw. I loved it. Thank you, Donald. But if I had to give a grade for tonight's episode of Raw, I would give it a B+. B+ for Raw tonight. So guys, Robbie, everybody watching, I want to say thank you for watching this live Raw review. As soon as this video is posted, be sure to leave your comments down below. What did you like? What didn't you like? And as we are on the road to SummerSlam, be sure to click my like and subscribe button on youtube.com/DanielGeyser412 for all my latest thoughts on the WWE product. Until then, guys, once again, and be sure to follow me on Twitter too, @DanielGeyser412 for all my live tweeting here in SmackDown, NXT, and SummerSlam as the summer comes to a close. So that is it, guys, now for my live Raw review. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great night, guys. Take care.